Hello everyone and welcome to the Bodyhood Brawl League Season 3 Qualifier League 3 and the very last game after all the Qualifier Leagues. We have for Klajd against Classic Charlie. We have the Catch, which is one warband deploys title on his wagon, while the other divides into 3 strikes teams. Klajd playing as the Witch Hunters, Classic Charlie as the Cult of the Possessed. And you can see this is a very uneven game. 400 in rating, 2 whole ranks differs these two warbands, and Klajd gets the advantage here, starting with all of his team gathered up, while Classic Charlie is divided. Seems to have a problem right from the start here. As we're waiting for them, let's bring up the scoreboard. You can see this is the very last game. Klajd is in second place, Classic Charlie is in second last place. And it's going to be interesting to see what Classic Charlie has been doing. This is the very first game we are casting off him. Klajd is no doubt going to win this particular qualifying league. He just needs a win here and he has it sorted out. Classic Charlie would like to get at least 1 point in this game. 1 whole point. Currently, I believe that he is -9 in his score difference, while his fellow player Chris Shu from Qualifier League 1 is -14 with also 14 points. And was it Sneaky High Elf? Let me check again. Yes, Sneaky High Elf, who is -13. So if Classic Charlie can lose with the lesser score difference here, it's going to be good for him. He's going to advance a little bit up the table. It seems to be some UI kind of thing. It's not, I mean, it's not part of the game. That's something that you have on your computer that you've added. Not really sure how. Let's take a look at the game here. We have Classic Charlie at 58 morale and Klajd at 140. So Klajd has one of the highest morales in the game, if not the highest morale by all of the warbands so far. And Classic Charlie seems to have the lowest. It's gonna be really tough. I wonder what has actually happened to Classic Charlie. Sometimes people misunderstand the rules. Has he played enough PvEs in between his games? We do know that Klajd has 2 extra PvEs, but still, has Classic Charlie played all his PvEs? Does he focus enough on getting the objectives? It's gonna be a very big thing. We do know that Classic Charlie, I believe, at least he told us, we're not gonna verify how true that is. His Magister died in one of the PvEs, so he's gonna come in here with mostly, if not level 0, then at least very near level 0 Magister. It's gonna further reduce his chance of doing something in this game. One upside here is that he doesn't have to devote units to, he gets 3 groups. Yeah, one of the groups is right there, and one of the groups is by his wagon, and then he has one in the middle left corner of the map. He's probably divided up his units in just 2 groups here. Hopefully we can follow some more games from Classic Charlie in the lower division where he's going, and hope he can pick up. He seems to be very far behind from many of the other players in the lower division. Means he's an underdog that we can all love and cheer for. Well, Klajd, he's that ruthless witch hunter player that is one of the top ranked players in the world. And who cheers for them? We do see one of the Dark Souls here. Gonna be looking here for this game, some classic telltale signs of mistakes early on by players that are relatively new to the game, which Classic Charlie might be. For instance, if you have 3 red pills with a henchman, you might, or you really should, go with a 2-handed weapon or with dual wielding, since you only get 1 attack no matter what kind of weapon you do use, and you want to cause more damage. If you have 4 red pills, however, it's more advantageous to go with a single-handed weapon as well as a shield or an empty hand for the extra dodge chance if you do go by dodge. And that adds up for every character as well. If you have uneven numbers or even number, just figure it out what kind of setup makes you able to use all of your red pills the most. You can also have it as a little bit of a special tactic. We do have seen Slaver, who is the top ranked player of the world. He has 4 red pills with some of his henchmen, still using a two-handed weapon. But he uses that and he charges, so it's cost 3, and then he switches weapons, so he gets 2 more attacks with a higher initiative bonus. See another unit here, another Dark Soul. Klajd can just play this game for fun. Probably won't have a loss, but Classic Charlie can somehow manage to get a single point here. It's gonna be really awesome for him. Marauder here has a great sword. Starting to wonder a little bit what kind of red pills he has. Most of the heroes at this level should be around at least 6 red pills. Wonder if that's going to be the case with Classic Charlie's. At least he doesn't have an arm mutation here. I say at least. It's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of the armor mutations are pretty good, and when you do play with the Cult of Possessed, you might want to think of all of your characters as ending up as dual wielding attackers with virtually no defense, since they could get a left arm and then they are going to get into that kind of role. Personally, I tend to favor the two-handed choices, since you do get, on your second attack you get a minus 15% damage with two-handed weapons, but on your first attack you get full damage, which is quite a lot. But with dual wielding you get minus 25% damage straight off the bat, and that's quite a lot. Remember, it applies to every single modifier as well. It does 50 damage here straight away. Good for Classic Charlie. Seems to only have 3 red pills, so it's a good choice to have that. You see that that Magister is very new. He hasn't even bothered to switch out the appearance of the new Magister. Just taking him as he came. So the minus 25% damage that you do get from dual wielding applies to every kind of bonus you get. So for instance, you count the base weapons, that's what you'd start out with, but for example strength, each point of strength adds 3% damage, but that's a minus 25% on that strength damage as well when you are dual wielding. So it is kind of a heavy penalty. And if you add weapons of destruction, you only get 75% of that damage as well, since if you are dual wielding. So there are a lot of things that are being scaled down here, making the Cult of Possessed players more likely to try to avoid dual wielding if they can, since Weapon of Destruction works best with the other kind of setups. Not that any of the Cult of Possessed players in this tournament so far has done really well for themselves. That would be Hole Poker, who is bringing it up, but some other players here have had more of a rough time, including Classic Charlie. Only has 1 win so far, and that's more or less the same for all of the other Cult of Possessed players as well. By the way, Rant also only has a single victory to his name, and Abaddon has 2 victories to his name. So that's all of the Cult of Possessed players we have in the Battlefield Brawl League Season 3. Most of Klajd's team here is bunched up right now. Gonna surround that Dark Soul and run straight over these units. Only has 1 attack as well. Should have some leveled up units here, or maybe the AI has been especially harsh against Classic Charlie.
A new round has started.
There's a lot of things to learn in with how to play against the AI, and you can do a lot of things that you would not expect. Since the AI is very predictable in how it moves, one thing that usually surprises new players is that if the AI sees a single character of yours, they see all of your characters and they know exactly where every single character is. So don't go off hiding people in a house and trying to get some kind of weird ambush going that you think they don't know about. They know everything. If they see one character, they see everything. That might be enough to avoid the free walking into his ambush. That's the basic weapon of destruction. It's generally not worth casting due to the curse chances and the little extra damage that you get from it. It's better to fight with that Magister. Some people say that the Magister is a bit lackluster early on and that he's a drain on the team that is otherwise pretty good, but I do disagree. The Magister is one of the best melee characters or ranged characters in the game early on. Remember, he starts with 5 weapon skill and 5 ballistic skill. He's very versatile and he can do a lot of things. Not even all of the melee heroes start with 5 weapon skill. You just play him as a hero with an extra blue pill doing damage instead of casting spells. Let's see here. Okay, he doesn't want to attack him. Might want to go into the... Oh yes, trying to get as much space as possible in on this Magister. And you can see, yeah, he is a level 0 Magister. He is very vulnerable. It's gonna have a really tough time with that in the lower division. Hopefully this new Magister can level up a little bit. As soon as he can get Master Weapon of Destruction, he can hang back a little bit and boost up the remaining units and their respective power. And then it doesn't really matter that he's a little bit further behind. But he needs to keep many of the other units alive, especially the ones that can do a lot of damage, which would be the Mutant and the Marauder. Gonna see what kind of levels they have. No, he's not gonna get to attack with that Weapon of Destruction, is he? No. That was a level 0 Dark Soul. You see that from the morale being out there, 9 morale being lost. That is, you do lose 9 morale per henchman plus 1 extra morale for level that they have. And since he lost 9 morale, we can figure out that Dark Soul was level 0. I think Classic Charlie is taking quite a bit of a beating here. He maybe needs to look a little bit more on various guides on the internet. I know that there are not too many, but if there's someone I would recommend maybe checking out how, for example, Kid and Paw plays in these low level games with the PvE. Could be an insight into how you should start moving a little bit. Could also check out some of Game Night's videos. He also knows a little bit of the game. They're all very low level. I don't see a single mutation here. It might not even be level 1 either. It's Might be a almost pure level 0 Warband. He's taking a lot of losses. Or getting such high injuries that it's not been worth keeping the units around. Indeed, and when we talked about the henchman, 9 morale, if it's the hero, you do lose 12 morale plus their level. Let me see, minus 12 morale, meaning that Marauder was also level 0. It's gonna be the most one-sided game in the qualifier leagues, no doubt. People will always struggle when they do face off against Klajd, but getting a little bit of practice with how to handle the PvE games is going to be a necessary requirement to have a little bit of more fun in leagues like this. I feel like you have more of a chance, because let's face it, no one really has much fun being Classic Charlie in this kind of situation. You cannot really kill anything. Yeah. Only 14 morale left, and if he loses the Minister, it's going to be minus 60 morale because he is a level 0 as well. 60 morale for the leaders, plus their inherent level. So 3 level 0 guys are gone. It's going to be a route test coming up here for Classic Charlie, taken by this mutant who might not be too much of a level himself. He seems to be at least level 1 since he has 1 mutation, but he's not level 4 yet. And he's gonna take a route test, and he probably only has 2 leadership, meaning 2 leadership times 4, that's 8% chance to make it. And we will see. Or if this is gonna end in a merciful 3-0 victory for Klajd. I think it will be. Let's see the route test coming up now. Indeed, 8% chance, and failed it. Congratulations to Klajd for finishing, and for Classic Charlie for finishing as well. The qualifier leagues are done. We're gonna move on to the upper and lower division. We will have a new video on that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this very one-sided affair. Congratulations to both of the players, and see you in the upper and lower division. Thank you for watching.